Spoiler warning. The following discussion will contain spoilers. We recommend checking out the movie first, then coming back to hang with us. But if you don't care about that, glad to have you here. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
And we are the Real Movie Guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Stay Out of the Water event. This is actually the finale of Stay Out of the Water. It's been a wonderful ride, guys. We really enjoyed having you here. Today we're going to be talking about Underwater. Underwater is about a crew of oceanic researchers working for a deep-sea drilling company. They try to get to safety after a mysterious earthquake devastates their deepwater research facility located at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. John, this movie has a weird history, so were you aware at all of this movie?
No, not at all.
I'm not surprised. So this movie was filmed in 2017. It was supposed to come out shortly after. Unfortunately, it didn't. Disney went and bought Fox, their whole monopoly of the industry as we know it. They went in there, they bought it, and then this movie got delayed till 2020, which that's a long time. That's like 3 years before we saw this movie. So I'm not surprised you didn't hear about it. I remember seeing trailers for it, and then the movie kind of disappeared. And when it popped back up, I was excited, to check it out, because again, it looked like it had a lot of heavy inspirations from Alien, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I will say right away, this movie did not disappoint me. I actually really, really enjoyed this movie. John, what did you take away? Were there any positives that you took right away from this movie?
Um, the Kristen Stewart's acting in
Okay.
this movie, I felt that she did a really good job of playing the character, and seeing just the way she acted in the movie. I thought was really good.
Right, I'd like to give her props. She gets a lot of flack. She was in Twilight, which it's unfair a lot of the times when we give actors such a hard time with their movie roles. She did it. She made money. She moved on. She's done great things since then. She was excellent in this movie. There were scenes of genuine emotion from her. There's a scene early on where she's, I think, on a keyboard in the area after the initial earthquake and everything gets destroyed, and she's literally shaking.
Hey, you gotta know, that wasn't our fault. I mean, you saved the entire egg. I didn't even know to close the door.
I'm like, wow, that was pretty intense, that scene. Like, that's pretty deep acting right there. Yeah, I agree with you. I think all the actors did a decent job. The only one I would maybe give a little flack to is T.J. Miller's comedy.
Nora,
You're good. Hi.
sweet black-chested elven creature.
In this movie, we'll talk about that later. But he's maybe the one character I wasn't totally in love with. My main takeaway from this movie, one of the things I really loved with the special effects. I've said it before 1,000 times on previous videos. Practical is the way to go. And this movie, it did have a decent amount of CGI, but at the same time, a lot of this was shot on sound stages in complete darkness, which I really, really appreciate. Everything from the suits that they're wearing they were actually wearing suits throughout the whole movie. It was nothing implemented. I really think that that's one of the main draws of this movie. A lot of things happen in the underwater and the darkness scenes. There's a scene where they have to go under this little tunnel, and you just see them pop up on the other side, but everything's shot in half-wasted water. Again, very unique shots, I would say. I mean, maybe not unique completely, but unique to an extent, I would think. I really like the idea of the underwater scenes, and the special effects that they use. John, what did you think of the special? Did you enjoy the effects that were in this movie, or?
Yeah, I thought they were really good. They like you said, when there's less CG
Mm-hmm.
and there's more practical stuff going on.
Right.
I feel like it just makes the movie even better because you can tell most of the time you can tell what's CG and what's not.
Right.
And the fact that they're using, I feel like also too when actors and actresses are using real life props and stuff.
Right.
I feel like that makes them act more in a way of they're actually acting with that stuff on instead of like adding
Right.
it later on and stuff. Because I feel like that's more of a genuine reaction to like
I
their
agree.
acting.
I'm just looking for.
No! See?
I agree. The interaction's a plus. You get a lot more out of an actor when you're interacting with something that's actually there versus, a little like ping pong ball or whatever sometimes they use like a tennis ball on a string, and that's what you're interacting with instead of what's not really there.
Yeah.
But again, this movie, there's times you can tell, some things have to be CGI, because of the sake of the movie that you're filming. But overall, I think the special effects were really impressive. I really did like everything, and as a complete package, I really did enjoy it. I also do like the overall designs. The suits are very reminiscent. If you've played Gears of War, the video game, or if you've played Dead Space, there's a lot of inspiration, I think, from those two sources. The suits pretty much look like a Gears of War movie at times. I'm like, oh, is that what I'm watching? Is this Gears of War? No, it's not. I did think that. It came across my mind, especially the Dead Space angle. Dead Space is in a similar realm where, you're investigating a ship of an alien origin, and you're being attacked by this alien. Again, this movie's very reminiscent of that, and I can appreciate that. I don't know if the director, I didn't see anything. I tried to look it up to see if there was some kind of tribute to that. I didn't see anything, but I think it's worth noting. I think that's very cool. Like I said, again, overall designs I liked. The way the ships looked, just the overall atmosphere of this movie is great. The use of lighting and the use of sound. The score is absolutely stunning. It's reminiscent of almost alien-like, and also like new, and also like I would say maybe like The Thing. If you've ever seen John Carpenter's The Thing, it's very reminiscent of that as well. A lot of like low like humming, and then you have this sudden burst of energy in the soundtrack, and I really, really appreciate that. Again, the atmosphere too, on top of that, the lighting is fantastic. The lack of lighting, the lack of clarity is it makes sense in this movie. They obscure a lot of your vision because that's what you're getting it from the perspective of the people going through this situation, which I can definitely appreciate. Another positive, I would think, this movie, like some other movies we reviewed, is quick to the point. This is another very short movie. It's about an hour and 30 minutes. The movie wastes no time at the start of this. I wasn't sure. I thought we were going to have, like I said, I've been talking about its Alien homage, but I thought we were going to have, all right, we got to meet the crew, and we're going to learn everybody and all their characteristics and yada, yada, yada. No, movie's like, no, we don't have time for that. As soon as this movie starts, there's an explosion. I like that. It adds a sense of urgency to what's going on. Instead of meandering around talking about our feelings, this movie's like, we don't have time for that. We got to survive. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting way to start off the movie. Like, I didn't know if I liked it or didn't like it at first, but like the more I think about it, it's like a cool way to do it.
I think jumping right into the action, jumping right into your plot. This is the snapshot that they wanted to tell you from this story. And I think there was enough there really to really enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed it. Going from point A to point B, I kept it going. They weren't waiting around for anything to happen. We weren't, again, talking about our feelings and what do we think we have to do. And no, it's right to the point.
Cooling towers. What are we getting?
Nothing good. All the upper decks have collapsed and we lost the cooling towers. The core of the Kepler is completely unstable.
It carries on at a quick pace, which makes it enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Other thing I would say, I did talk about it earlier, is the underwater, I think, is a great substitution. Again, this movie is definitely an homage to Alien, among other movies in that realm. But instead of outer space, we have the underwater setting. And the use of underwater in this movie is fantastic. Like I said, they have the obscuring your visibility, the lack of lighting. When they actually encounter the monsters in this movie,
Oh my god!
I think you get an actual clear look at what they look like. Their design, I would argue, isn't anything special. It's nothing you haven't seen before. But the way they use it in the movie with the visibility and the lighting adds to that mystery, which I really dig that. That's right up my alley when it comes to movies. I like not seeing everything. I've said that before when we reviewed Jaws earlier in this series. I like a little bit to the imagination. While this movie's not to that extent, I think your brain tries to fill in the blanks, and I really like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like some of the monsters seem like props that the people in that one show we used to watch on Sci-Fi channel.
Oh, Face Off, right?
Face Off.
Right.
I feel like some of those monsters seem like something that some of those people would have made and stuff. Like they weren't amazing, but they were really good and had like a decent like design to them in a way.
Right, which I think is like the last positive I really want to give this movie. There's a lot of usually I don't talk about this in movies because it's not something I feel like should affect my initial review. This movie, however, I would make maybe the rare exemption for that. There's a lot of hidden lore in this movie that's not clear offset. Like, for example, the giant monster, again, there's spoilers in this review if you didn't see that warning at the beginning. It's Cthulhu. All right, from H.P. Lovecraft, we've seen the Cthulhu monster. Essentially, that's what this is at the end of the movie, a giant Cthulhu tentacle monster. I didn't expect that at the end at all at this movie. I thought it was just going to be your, regulatory, monsters attacking the drilling station, not this giant end of the world being going to tear the world apart. But like I said, at first I had an idea that it might be that, but I wasn't able to confirm it until I went back and researched some of the things that were going on with this movie. I'll read this actually. If you go on IMDb, they actually have a great little piece on here. It says, Director William Ebank has confirmed in an interview that the sea monster seen in the movie is in fact Cthulhu of H.P. Lovecraft's mythos. Strangely, the mining company is called Tian Industries. In literature, the adjective Lovecraftian is used to indicate this type of cosmic horror. Also, there's a hint that the company awoke the monster on purpose. As the character looked at Cthulhu from the station's window, the recording states Tian Industries, which it says, Tian Industries, we have big things in store for you. In the Cthulhu mythos, a common trope is the existence of a powerful cult that attempts to wake him. They do drop hints throughout the movie, and again, they're subtle, so it's not, if you're not looking for it, you may not find it, so that could be a positive or negative depending on how you look at it.
The Roebuck is the future of TN Industries energy production. TN Industries, we've got big things in store for you.
But I did notice it, and it was cool to go back and confirm some of my theories about what was exactly going on. Again, the movie doesn't give you all of the answers. It gives you hints at what's going on and lets your imagination carry on and then find out exactly, what it was about. They also have a strange fetish for Alice in Wonderland in this movie. T.J. Miller has a tattoo of the Cheshire Cat. There's a myriad of references.
In the book, Alice cried so much she almost drowned in her own tears. Luckily, she could swim. It got pretty rough for her after that.
You don't know where you're going. Any road can get you there. What? It's not me, Nora. It's from a book.
Very surprising, especially... I didn't expect that, I guess, a tribute to Alice in Wonderland, but I guess the whole descent into madness goes with the theme of underwater. Again, very interesting stuff. If you get a chance, I would definitely, even if you just surf the IMDb page, or if you pick up this movie, it is available on Blu-ray. If you pick it up, some of the special features actually go into a lot of the details. Again, really cool stuff. I think if you're a fan of sci-fi, especially, this will be right up your alley. All that, at this point, let's go into some negatives. John, what kind of negatives did you have for this movie?
There was one character that I would say is a negative. I felt like the one girl that was with them.
Really, the girl?
She kind of seems like she doesn't really belong there in a way. Like I feel like there was one scene where they're talking about they have to go, like they got to put on the helmets and everything, and go like swimming and stuff or walking.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems like the type, she's like, I don't think I can do that.
Has anyone ever walked out there before? Longer than to fix a pipe, I mean, just walked. No.
Check if we...
And it just seems to me like I just didn't like her character that much.
Okay. I mean, I could appreciate you not liking the character, but to counter your point, I think that's the whole no pun. That's the whole point of the character is she's not comfortable being there. She's a doctor. She's not one of these, underwater marine characters that are used to going out underwater and taking care of things.
Guys, somebody's gonna have to suit up.
All right, Emily, this is your time.
What?
I'm just messing with you.
I thought she was fine. Again, she was maybe more the common element character, the audience character in the movie. So, you see it from her perspective. Not everyone's going to be ready to go jump into the middle of the ocean and fight underwater creatures or just to survive in general. I think she was the audience character. I would disagree with you on that, but I could, again, appreciate your opinion. I see where you're coming from. But to build on that, I would actually say a big negative of this movie is all the characters are essentially underdeveloped, right? Everyone is almost a stereotype. Not a stereotype, an archetype of a character. You got T.J. Miller's the funny guy.
Take this bunny. I bequeath it to you. If he doesn't make it, I'll haunt you.
You got the girl who's the audience character. You have Kristen Stewart, who's the strong female lead, who has a little bit of a backstory to drive her forward.
I always let somebody die. I've never seen anybody implode.
You have the grumpy old captain who's like, I gotta survive, I gotta get my crew out of this. Again, beyond those archetypes that we've seen in movies 1,000 times, I don't think there was anything new added to that. The actual character development, which I thought was hilarious. You have Kristen Stewart's character, you have the doctor and her boyfriend. They're the only characters that actually get any kind of backstory, and it's only in the last 15 minutes of the movie that we actually see anything.
It's just that feeling of being powerless to change anything. It almost killed me.
I actually looked at the timestamp because I was that curious. Again, did it hurt my enjoyment of this movie? No, because I knew what I was getting myself into. So as long as you're aware of that, this isn't a character-driven story, that's fine. But in order for me, I could see an audience, I could see someone else watching this movie saying, why do I care if these people live or die? What was my interest? I have no investment because they're just bland characters. They're very bland. They're one note. And it is an argument. That is definitely an argument to be made.
One-trick ponies.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, they're all cliches. On top of that, as much as I'm praising this movie, in all honesty, there isn't much originality in this movie. It's stuff we've all seen. I complimented a lot for being an homage to Alien. However, maybe it took a little too much inspiration to where everything is something I've seen before. Very little of this movie is unique besides maybe the Cthulhu monster, which isn't even theirs. It's actually from something else. But again, I would say the story's not that original. But competent. The movie's competent. The movie's competent enough to get past the unoriginality, so there is enough to enjoy.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, no, I said, yeah.
It's one of those movies that I feel like it had good things and bad things, but the whole thing was that I felt like it was a whole bunch of stuff coming from different places and other movies into this one.
You could argue it's like a patchwork movie. I could see that, where you're just, like you said, grabbing things, inspirations from other places. Director, it's so cliche to say, but I'll say it's like a love letter. This movie's a love letter to sci-fi and the movies that came before it. It adds all the best elements that we really like.
This better not be some 20,000 leagues under the sea shit, man.
But instead of adding something new to them, it just puts them in a movie. So you can fault the movie for that, but I think, in my opinion, the movie rises enough above that to where I don't think it impacts your enjoyment of the film. the last two things I'll get into. I do feel the destination can be a bit unclear at times. I did talk about how this movie moves at a fast pace, but there were times where either I missed a quick piece of dialogue, or maybe it just wasn't clear to where exactly they were going or what they were trying to do. I definitely felt, especially later on, the movie fixes that. But there's times where I don't want to say I didn't understand, but I wasn't made clear what they were trying to do, especially when they were trying to get from point A to point B. I got where they were at point A, but what they were trying to do at point B was a little confusing. One example of this, and also another thing would be the time, like how much time is passing in this movie. Kristen Stewart gets separated from the group. She gets separated from the doctor and her boyfriend. She gets separated, and she goes into this abandoned drill site that they have, and I feel like it's unclear how long she's there for. It seems like it's a long time, and I don't know how much air the other people had, so maybe that's like a logic complaint as well. It just seems like a really long time she was there. I don't know if it was just the way they edited the shots together or what they were trying to portray, but it felt like a day or two she was hanging out there. It didn't feel like maybe it was a couple hours was what they were trying to get across. Again, not very clear.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's definitely a negative. And my last negative, and this could be subjective, I'm not a huge fan of TJ Miller in general, so I find him to be grating at times.
He's a rip too? Come on!
Not as bad as he could have been, but some of his one-liners, like, come on, man. Again, he's the stereotype of, oh, he's the funny guy in the group, and he's gonna die, but he's the little comic relief.
Been sitting back there since Slender Man some shit.
Hey, it's not funny.
I just found him grating at times. Again, I think that's just personal preference. That being said, let's get to our final scores. I'm going to give Underwater an A-.
3, 2, 1.
So let's light this shit up.
I think this movie is a hidden gem in a way. I think I really liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. From the outside, I'm like, all right, it's just going to be, if anything, it's going to be whatever. It was supposed to come out in 2017. We didn't see it till 2020. That's usually a terrible sign. I think it's great. I think if you really love practical effects, you love sci-fi, especially, the Lovecraftian horror, I think is really well done. Again, the originality is not really there, but if you look at it maybe as a love letter to other sci-fi movies, I don't see you not enjoying this. I don't see a way that you couldn't enjoy this movie. So again, my score, A-. John, where do you stand on this movie?
I stand at a firm C.
I'm thinking I really didn't like the sound on that transmission. You should take something.
Yeah. It's a very valid point.
It had good things in it. It had bad things in it. It wasn't a movie that I would go watch again. And even after like some of the facts that I learned from just from you about like how much you have to like read up on certain things, I don't think that a movie should have so many, like, it should have some things that maybe you have to like look at later on and be like, oh, okay, now I understand all that. But I feel like this had so many things that maybe would be important to know in the movie, and it just like left those things out.
I actually disagree with that on this point. I think that's part of the charm of this movie, where it gives you enough. To me personally, it gave me enough breadcrumbs to find out what I needed. It gave me a hint of what it was trying to tell. So by me going back, actually made me enjoy the movie even more, because I had a little more interaction with the movie besides just watching it. So I really think that's a positive, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, I definitely don't agree with you on that one. But hey, you're entitled to your wrong opinion, as I always say.
Stop it!
Well, you're entitled to your terrible A-.
Whatever. All right, guys. So John, where can the people find us at home?
You can find us on YouTube at TheReelMovieGuys. You can subscribe to our channel. Tell us who won this battle.
Obviously.
Do you think that this is a C or an A-?
Clearly.
You can also find us on Twitter at TheReelMovieGuy. You can follow what we're doing there, see what we're posting and stuff. And you can also find us on many platform podcast locations, such as...
Yes, for your listening pleasure, we are also available in podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Cast. Be sure to give us a listen to any of those fine places. If you already are, hey, we greatly appreciate it. Just search Real Movie Guys, we'll pop right up. I'd like to personally thank everyone that's tuned in for Stay Out of the Water Month. I had a great time doing it. It was fun to relive, the Jaws series, the Piranha series. Had a couple of romps with the Meg, and even watching Underwater, I think was a great time. I really appreciate everybody that tuned in. If you want to see more of this kind of content where we do theme months, make sure you drop a like. Please subscribe. We're trying to get more subscribers. I want to hit at least 10. At the time of filming this video, we haven't even hit 10 subscribers yet. So hey, just give me 10. Come on, guys. It's just one more. One of you watching this, just hit that button. I don't want to be begging you, but it's getting there. But again, I had a great time. We do have another theme month coming, I believe, in the future. Me and John are discussing it. Once we have a firm idea of what we're doing, we'll release, a teaser vid, let you guys know what's going on. Otherwise, just please stick around. We got some great reviews coming your way. But anyway, my name's Kevin. This guy over here, he's John. We are the Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. And for the last time, please stay out of the water. We'll catch you next time.
See ya!